133 mass shootings in the US in just 87 days, this one being the latest at a school in Nashville, Tennessee. All of it chillingly captured on CCTV camera, where you can see the 28-year-old shooter blasting with her firearm, breaking into the school, and then going on a shooting spree that ended with the killing of 3 young children, 3 adults, and then the gunner herself was also killed. Take a look at the latest in an unstoppable nightmare in the United States.
The chilling Nashville school shooting sending shockwaves across the world. A heavily armed 28-year-old trans man, Audrey Elizabeth Hale, who was a former student of the Christian convent school, is caught on camera driving inside the campus in his car, then forcing his way into the school by shooting indiscriminately at the glass door. He is then seen on CCTV prowling the corridors of the school, barging into one room after another, looking for students and opening fire. According to police, shooter Audrey had elaborately planned the massacre by drawing out a detailed map of his former school.
The police department response was swift. Officers entered the first story of the school, began clearing it. They heard shots coming from the second level. They immediately went to the gunfire. When the officers got to the second level, they saw a shooter, a female, who was firing. The officers engaged her. She was fatally shot by responding police officers.
In this brutal act of violence, 3 children aged between 8 and 9, along with school's top administrator, a substitute teacher and a custodian were shot dead, apart from the attacker himself, who was killed by the armed police. The police later recovered a stash of guns from the residence of Audrey. Audrey Hale had no criminal record, and police believe that resentment may have been a motive. Panic-stricken parents later gathered at a nearby church to be reunited with their children. As buses of children arrived, they hung their heads and hands out of the windows to wave to their parents. The massacre at the convent school in the US's Nashville was the latest in the series of mass shootings in a country that has grown increasingly unnerved by bloodshed in schools, but struggles to control the rampant gun culture. Bureau Report, India Today.
But if you think that's scary, take a look at this data that makes this entire issue of US mass shootings even more terrifying. Just look at the numbers so far this year, viewer. In January, there have been 52 mass shootings in the US. In February, there have been 43. In March, so far, there have been 38. That's a total of 133 mass shootings in the United States so far in 2023. In less than 3 months, that's an average of 1.5 every single day. Now, but before we take another deep dive into the alarming statistics behind the spate of mass shootings in the United States, this is an example of the unbelievable, perhaps even insensitive disconnect between the US political system and the issue of mass shootings. Have they become so normal and everyday that you see something like this happen? US President Joe Biden was found indulging in banter and ice cream right before a public address where he was supposed to comment on what happened in that Nashville school. Take a look at this, which has gone viral in the US media.
My name is Joe Biden. I'm Dr. Joe Biden's husband. And I ate Jenny's ice cream, chocolate chip. I came down because I heard there was chocolate chip ice cream. By the way, I have a whole refrigerator full upstairs. I think I'm kidding.
Well, he's free to say what he likes. He's the US president, but talking about chocolate chip ice cream right before talking about the Nashville shooting in which 3 young kids were killed. Now listen into what the US president really was there to talk about. This is right after the comment on chocolate chip ice cream.
Ben and I have been doing this our whole careers, it seems. And it's just, it's sick. You know, we're still gathering the facts of what happened and why. And we do know that as of now, there are a number of people who did not make it, including children. It's heartbreaking, family's worst nightmare. And I want to commend the police who responded incredibly swiftly, within minutes, to end the danger. We're monitoring the situation really closely, Ben, as you know, and we have to do more to stop gun violence. It's ripping our communities apart, ripping the soul of this nation, ripping at the very soul of the nation. And we have to do more to protect our schools so they aren't turned into prisons.